It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspectives of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is being brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association, and it can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on local radio WMOA AM 1490 and ESPN radio WJAW FM 100.9 and AM 630. It's now time for the show. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Energy Insights on a Saturday morning. Johnny Wharf along with Jerry James of Artex Oil, and a chance to take a deeper dive into the oil and gas industry as it pertains to where our feet are. And they're right here in Marietta, Ohio. And so I'm just going to throw out the idea of here we are, 2018, activity in the area. Looks like it's on the up again.
Yep, Johnny, you're really right. We're kind of just an interesting point in history on this. It's just fascinating. You've seen the activity locally, but a lot of people just don't appreciate how big this is on the world stage. When you really look at it, it's just hard to believe. The modern oil and gas industry starts in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, in the late 1800s, the leading producer of oil and gas in the world was Ohio. That's one of the reasons Marietta grew so much during that Victorian period, and we have all these fine buildings and houses, is because we were a leading energy producer. As a matter of fact, that's why Marietta College has a petroleum engineering department, because Edwin R. Brown, who left the petroleum engineering department, became CEO of a small company called the Standard Oil Company, because he's from Little Hocking, Ohio. Wow. Right down there on the Ohio River. And so that's what allowed us to grow. And what's fascinating is we're back again.
So the cyclical part of the industry comes back to kind of where it all began, right?
We are back to where it all began. You're absolutely right. What's interesting is how much it's grown. Like I said, in the late 1800s, we led the world in oil and gas production in this region. Then Texas overtook us nationally. Texas is the number one producing state in the United States, number one producing natural gas, and the number one producing in oil. But something happened last year that hadn't happened for 100 years. And that is when you look at the combined production of Ohio, West Virginia, for your listeners across there, and even up into Pennsylvania, where I know some of your stations reach up to the edge. If you combine the natural gas production of those three states, something in 100 years hasn't happened, we surpassed the number one producing state, Texas. Now, one of the Texans once said, well, you're counting three states and we're only one. Well, the three states combined are only half the size of Texas.
Right, and that's what we refer to as the Shale Crescent region.
That's the region we refer to as Shale Crescent. So this is absolutely fascinating. So on a United States level, we're leading the United States in natural gas production. And we helped propel the United States to be the number one natural gas producer in the entire world. We now produce more than Russia and more than any Mideast country the United States does. But if Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, the area we call the Shale Crescent, if we would form our own country, we alone would be the number three producer of natural gas in the world, ahead of countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Qatar, all those, Canada, and a lot of other countries in the world. So this is what gives us a huge competitive advantage on the world market.
And the businesses of the area, and again, we see, more, we always refer to the white pickup trucks that show up with Oklahoma plates or whatever is on the back of them, but it seems like that they're embracing this area for more than just the activity in the oil and gas.
Oh, they are. There's a lot of people doing it. If you look out the Broughton complex, I think Georgia's on maybe his 30th building out there right now. And even when you see those out-of-state plates, I always tell those boys they ought to buy Ohio plates, because a lot of those guys driving those are actually our own guys.
Oh, really?
They're people that went to Marietta College or people who grew up in the area, and a lot of these people are local Marietta people and local Southeastern Ohio, local West Virginians now in those trucks. So it's really helping the employment figures. And we've just gotten started, because that's the upstream part of this. As we started producing all this natural gas, and once the mission on Shale Crescent, which I know you've helped out quite a bit, is our goal is to then use this natural gas to bring manufacturing back to the region.
Okay, and that'll be another interesting topic, and we'll share with Jerry James on that in our next program. An interesting gentleman, an interesting topic, and we're glad you're tuned in to Energy Insights here on the radio. Until next Saturday, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA and ESPN Radio WJAW as Johnny Wharf brings you your local and inside perspectives of the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley.